So hello everybody, Marilyn Wilson here from RE Technology, here for our today's coffee chat, and we've got a good one for you today, like always. We've got Amy Gorce, good friend of mine from CoreLogic, who's going to show us some really practical and simple ways to use the MLS that I know all of you have. Many of you probably have Matrix specifically, which is the system she's going to show us today. But she's going to give us just some tips and tricks of simple ways to actually help grow your business without having to spend one extra dollar other than your MLS organization. So, and unfortunately, Amy got caught behind the corporate firewall, and we cannot see her picture unfortunately today. But she's here and she's excited, right, Amy?
I am. Good morning, Marilyn. Yes, I'm not being intentionally camera shy. I even put on makeup for y'all today, so I'm sorry you can't see it.
It's such a big deal when we do that, right? We were laughing
Right.
how we never wear makeup as much at home as we do here, but it's okay. So I just
It'll be
wanted
hard when we all have to go back to actual work.
to exactly. Anyway, just wanted to remind everybody that feel free to ask us questions. We would love to have a conversation with you guys and help clarify anything that Amy's saying to you today, because she's got some good stuff, and she's just really getting to the tip of the iceberg. We're really going to recommend that you go back to each of your own local MLS organizations, because a lot of them have really great training that'll help you go deeper on all this stuff. But anyway, so Amy is the principal of business development at CoreLogic. She's been with them quite a while. You actually started, how long did when you started Clarity or with them? That's been a long, long time, right?
Started Clarity in 2004, late 2004, acquired by CoreLogic in 2017. So I'm not even the new kid at CoreLogic anymore. But
Wow.
yes, I think I have a plaque up here that says I've been at CoreLogic for 15 years, because they give you credit for time served at their acquired companies as well.
Time served? It sounds like you're in prison.
Well, I have been stuck inside a 12x16 office for 2 months, which is the longest I've ever been home. So maybe I'm just feeling that way today.
For all the audience, we were just laughing before we got on the call about, we always complained about having to get on airplanes all the time, and right now they're feeling kind of good. Just get out of that office. I'll go anywhere. Just let me out, right?
What I would
Anyway,
pay for someone to make my bed for me.
well, thank you so much for being here. I know that you're crazy busy like all of us. It seems like we're all working twice as hard and getting half as much done. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but that's what it feels like. But I asked Amy here today because, in fact, the first slide I'm going to throw up, you guys will probably recognize, if those of you that come back to this, I talk about the dashboard, or the collection of logos at the simplest definition inside of all of your MLS organizations. And again, you're probably sick of hearing me say, go ahead and push any button, but just kind of explain to us, like, what is all the stuff that's on this, Amy? Because it really is a treasure trove of business generation opportunity.
Sure. And it's different for each MLS, right? But we do have about 140 customers, I think, using the Clarity dashboard today. So there's a good chance you have one. And really, this Clarity dashboard was born as a byproduct of our security solution, which by its very nature, the way it integrated, supported single sign-on. And so the dashboard is really a collection of single sign-on enabled applications that your MLS licenses on your behalf. And so I think everybody lots of times thinks of the MLS as Matrix, right? Or as their vendor, but hopefully you're all Matrix customers. And so they don't think about the additional solutions that the MLS offers. And in some cases, and even in this MLS, they happen to offer two different MLS front ends, right? So you actually have your choice about which MLS front end you offer, or your showing services, or your lockbox system. And many times there are details inside those applications that I think subscribers aren't really aware of. Super is a really good example. They've done a ton of enhancements that give you showing feedback and tons of data about your showings. In the case of showing time, if you have showing time in your market, the same thing, lots of additional information and data that are available. So the dashboard just really makes it easy and convenient for you to get to those applications and try them out. I know Cloud CMA is a popular one. There's just tons of applications on there that you can go and try out that are typically included in your MLS dues. Oftentimes you'll also find it more convenient to do things like pay your bill there, or interact with the other MLS services, because again, they're all single sign-on enabled. So you should be able to just use your MLS username and password to get in and do what you need to do without having to create accounts or things like that.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this list of companies. And again, I apologize for those of you that are with me and are getting tired of hearing this, but there's so many things in just this is just one particular. This is Palm Beaches, actually. We had them on the show a couple of weeks ago. But Property Panorama, that's a virtual tour, right? My Condo Plans, that can help you if you're in that market. Homes Connect can help you with listing exposure. Remine is great for looking at public records and prospecting and things like that. I mean, there's a market statistics program in here which you can use to display what's going on in a particular market. If you're on the phone with someone and they ask, you can pull a report for them. You can share a lot of this stuff right on your website. List Track is a really cool one that helps you basically take credit for all the listing exposure that you're providing to a listing through other IDX websites, through the MLS itself, through any third parties you're working with. And there's a great report you can send to sellers. Rate My Agent's a great way for you to actually give yourself to collect ratings and feedback that you can share with other customer. What's this one? New construction home search. So again, it goes on and on, right? So it's like,
right,
it's worth an hour of your time, literally, just to go and click all those buttons and just get the overview. What do each of these things do? And if one of them really strikes your fancy, like, wow, I think that would be really helpful in my business. There's training for pretty much, I'm sure, all of these. Frankly, knowing Palm Beaches, there's probably training for all of these that you can go get. Now, it takes you a little bit of time, but it doesn't cost you $1. I'm telling you, there's so much business opportunity in this. Just looking at this dashboard. And by the way, look in that bottom left, you see RE Technology. Of course, these guys
That's what I was going to say. I see RE Technology down there. So if you want to know more about any of these solutions, there's a good chance they've had a product review inside RE Technology.
Exactly. So and a lot of people just, log in and just jump right past this. Obviously Matrix is very valuable, and so is Realist and other stuff we're going to look at today. But there's a lot more here. So don't forget about this. And this has been, Amy, how long have you worked on these dashboards? It's like your baby, right? You've had these a long time.
It is. We launched these dashboards starting in 2010. So they've been around a long time. We're excited about new versions of the dashboards that'll be coming out later this summer. They're going to actually bring more widgets forward. So instead of having to kind of go to showing time to see your showing feedback, you'll have previews of it kind of brought forward in the dashboard, or your My Matrix hot sheets and things like that would be brought forward as well. So exciting new things coming that'll hopefully inspire you to want to click on more of the buttons.
Exactly. Okay, good. So if you haven't heard me, push a button. And by the way, the other thing that's kind of neat about some MLSs now, if you go and you click through to one of these and you get training, there's CE courses and CE credit available now in some cases. So not only will you learn something new, but you'll actually get your CE out of the way as well. But let's jump over to the next slide. So let's talk about Matrix 360 and how this can help folks, Amy.
Sure. Well, Matrix 360 was, the vision that we had of combining public record search with MLS listing search in one place. So you have the familiarity of a matrix search, but with public records integration in it. You can do all of the normal things you can do inside Matrix. So you've got the tax search available. You've got walk the block feature where you can see the whole neighborhood. You've got a map that displays summary tax and listing information for each parcel. So lots of times when you're searching for a buyer, you might need to be looking for stuff that isn't even available, right? So you're able to actually do search and prospecting at the same time by having your 360 search both currently listed properties and also public records that might be available that allow you to prospect and maybe get a listing. at the same time. There's comprehensive map overlays very similar to Realist that include flood, highlighted parcels, lot dimensions, and points of interest. So really easy way for you to get a comprehensive view of a neighborhood, of a zip code, when you have a buyer looking for something very specific. And all that property data can be also integrated into our client portal, the Matrix portal, as well. Super easy to print mailing labels and export the tax data as well. So a lot of the things you can do in Realist, but when you combine it here with the ease of use of Matrix, can make it really easy for you.
Now, do most of the markets have Matrix 360 now? Is that kind of the thing that is that the way that
most of the U.S. markets have Matrix 360 now. Canada's a little different.
okay.
Public records coverage looks a little different there. Some of our Canadian customers may have seen an announcement last year from TerraNet. We're still kind of working through what that means and how things get delivered. But today in the U.S., most of our customers have Matrix 360.
Gotcha. So if you haven't had any training on that, it's probably worth going back. And the auto email notifications, I'm sure many of you are aware of that, but that's again gold, right? If you can work with a client and start to understand what it is that they're potentially looking for, you can brand that to yourself, and they can get something in their inbox, as often as they want it in their inbox, right? It can be daily,
Right.
weekly, monthly.
That's
right?
exactly it. So you can set up a search. You can specify the dates and times for delivery of that information. I think we all know right now there's a bit of a race to listing alerts, right? Maybe a little quieter the last few weeks, but there are still plenty of people that want to know the minute something comes on the market. So there is the option there to sort of send as soon as possible, we call it, because it isn't exactly immediate, but it's called as soon as possible. And it really does kind of give that value for you as the agent. You're able to set up the search, for the consumer. They can view the listings that match their criteria and have, again, those preferences about what days and times they receive new updates.
Yeah, it's great functionality. It's, some websites and things include this type of functionality as well, but if you don't have that anywhere else, I like it because you kind of there has to be communication between you and the client. So you're continuing to refine that search, from based on what the feedback that they're giving to you, right? So it gives you a way to have a dialogue with them.
And there is some collaboration there. So you get visibility, into what they've liked, they've favorited, they've said is a possibility. They're able to leave you notes. So you get that level of collaboration there that allows you to kind of tweak that for them. And in some cases, depending on your local MLS configuration, the consumers can actually, once they get an invite from you, can actually search themselves.
Right. So yeah, so they can keep going deeper on it too if they want to, which is awesome. Sorry, my veterinarian's calling about my dog. Sorry. Yeah. So yesterday we talked about reverse prospecting, and I know we have a slide next. Sandra just asked if we could tell her more, and so I said, well, that was perfect timing because we're about to talk about that right now.
Perfect.
So, the idea that you can not only help, if getting a listing, right? We all know, and not in every market, but in lots of markets, inventory is so tight right now. If there's a way for you to be able to, attract a new listing based on the fact that you can say, I've got a pent up demand for you, and I can define that, and I can actually show it at some level. It's really cool, right? So let's look at that.
Cool.
So tell us, how does this work? And I'm sure, again, there's probably training specifically on reverse prospecting, but just give us the overview. How does it work?
There is training, and I think in most MLSs there's also help right inside Matrix. So there's the help button right inside Matrix that'll typically have links to documentation and videos. But reverse prospecting essentially allows you to look for agents that have made a search, an auto email search available that match your listing. So you're able to get a list of agents that have a match to your property that you have listed, so that you can reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed that, I'm coming up in one of your saved searches. It is completely anonymous for your buyers. So, listing agents are never given your customer names or information. So, just a really valuable tool for trying to make those connections, especially right now. I think, people have some listings that might not be moving as fast as they normally do in some markets. So this is just an additional tool that you can use to help show your sellers too. Look, there are people looking, in your price range or your particular market. So it's a really way to, to kind of, again, reverse match a little bit the opposite of auto email notifications. We're actually finding buyers that match up sellers here.
So if I wanted to take this and I wanted to use it to, help again secure a new listing, is there any kind of a report that I pull, or would I just say it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 15 different agents that have at least one client, if not more, that are interested in your type of home? Or is there a way to like sort of package it when you're in your listing presentation?
Yeah, good question, Marilyn. I think it might be a little different by configuration per market,
Okay.
but I think there is a report that shows the count. There's one that shows the count of the number of listings, including that seller's listings that match a specific buyer's criteria. So I think at a minimum you'd be able to show them a count, but because Matrix is highly customizable, there may be additional reports available there.
Gotcha. And Sandra asked, does it need to be on your listing only? Let me see if I can clarify, Sandra. Do you mean like, is it your listing only, or is it homes like your listing only, like by price point and things like that? Like, how does it know that it matches Linger, Wyoming, as an example, or whatever that one is that's in there?
It does go on your listings.
Okay.
Yeah, it does go on your
So
listings.
it's reading the criteria of your listing and then saying,
It's reading yes, and
gotcha,
telling you who has saved searches that match that.
So you could do the same thing if you were trying to get a listing. You could say, okay, I'm going to pretend it's 5780 Linger Way, and I'm going to put that criteria in, and then I can still pull it out. So if I'm doing a what if, so to speak, for a new listing,
Sure.
I could do the same thing.
Sure, of course, yes.
Gotcha. So yeah, so it's pretty
It
cool.
really is just a way to see what the buyer demand is for a specific property or a specific set of criteria.
So Jerry's asking if I wanted to email or contact all of those agents, is there a way to sort of grab them as a group, or do you reach out to them individually?
I think, again, that's a local configuration, and I will admit, I said this to Marilyn in advance, I would check with your local MLS on that, because Matrix is a highly customizable solution, and so they each have different features, and they also have different kind of privacy policies about how much email facilitation they do through the system.
Gotcha. It'd be interesting for those that are on the call. Let us know how many of you are using Matrix specifically. Now, and I've said this before, and I'll just repeat today that while we're talking about Matrix specifically, and Matrix is the largest, has the most number of MLSs, I believe, in the country.
Yes.
A lot of the kinds of tools and the kinds of technology and features we're showing are available in other MLS solutions as well. So if you have Flex, or you have Paragon, or you have some of the other ones, I would still not say, oh well, that's only reverse prospecting, it's only in Matrix. It's probably in those tools too as well. And great thing, just reach, if you just, the word reverse prospecting is well known among MLS staff. So if you want to know more about this, just send an email into them and say, hey, do we have any training on reverse prospecting, or can someone get on the phone and walk me through how we do it in our particular installation of Matrix or in our particular system? Because it's everywhere, right? And again,
it is everywhere.
Yeah, there's ways to take. It's like any technology, and we all do this, right? We have the 3 things we use all the time, and there's 45 other things that are all really cool, and we never know about them. And we never get as much out of it as we could. And this is a great example of that. So if you're trying to get creative about how do I get someone off the dime right now to list a home when they're still, a lot of consumers believe that there's no real estate happening right now. That's number one. We've talked about that on other shows, right? Like, you have to show them with MLS data or with and market stats or anything you've got at your access to show them that no, business really is still happening. Even if you are still shelter in place, it is still happening. But things like this can show them that things are still happening, right? So get creative about
Right.
how the ways that you take advantage of that. And
And I
even if
think
you
the nice
literally
thing
just
is a lot of these saved searches, Marilyn, were, put in place even, pre-pandemic. So there is sort of some continuing built up demand as more listings don't come on the market, right? So even
exactly.
if you reverse prospected this 60 days ago, go back and check, because I think, as inventory starts to shrink a little bit, depending on your local market, this buyer demand side, will become even more valuable.
Exactly. And even if you literally just said there's, 15 agents that I know, and I mean, if you really wanted to do your homework, you could reach out to each of these folks in advance of your listing presentation, right? And you could say to them, so Ryan and Carrie and Mike and Natalie, tell me what, do you have somebody that's really interested? Because you may be able to bring them even more than the number of people that are here. They may have multiple people that are looking for a home like that you've got for sale, right? So you can show them there is truly a pent up demand. So again, something to do that's free, not free, but part of your MLS, and so take advantage of it for sure. Okay, let's see. What do we have next one? Let's talk about Realist. How can this help us? This is a cool product. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And Realist just got a brand new facelift in most markets. If it's not in your market yet, it will be by the end of June. And so finally, flash-free Realist operates on any mobile or tablet device, which I think was really a critical feature to support the way agents work today. But the important thing to know about Realist is it can tell you anything about any property in the United States, 99.9% coverage,
Wow.
some pretty sophisticated prospecting and marketing tools, including the ability to sort of to draw shapes. So not all cities are built in beautiful square blocks, right? So you're able to draw a shape around an area, indicate very specific characteristics about that area. So often we'll have agents want to look at the last sale date and set a last sale date that meets their criteria. We do have a brand new feature in Matrix called the sell score that really just indicates a propensity to sell in the next 6 months. We've
You have
used
that
that. Right?
one? This
Yeah.
one?
Yep, that one right there. We've used this extensively in our non real estate markets, so banking and things like that, to help our customers understand when they might, be losing a loan or something like that. So this has been used quite often inside CoreLogic for a long time, but this is the first time we're offering it inside Realist and inside Real Estate Solutions, and it's just a way to get some visibility into a set of criteria that we use to score whether or not someone might have a high, moderate, or low propensity to sell. Not an exact science, but just another tool in your prospecting tool belt. So as you're searching Realist, trying to do your farming activities, you've got that sell score. You can kind of sort by the sell score and maybe take, of your farm area, be able to narrow it down to just everybody that's, moderate or higher, and save some money on mailing labels or postcards or things like that. Mailing labels, easy and popular activity inside Realist. Super simple to do. I don't have a screenshot of that, but it's a very easy option for you to do. In many markets, you're going to start to see an integration, a mailing label integration with a company CoreLogic owns called Home Visit that has a print service. So you're going to be able to just send the data straight over for a home visit. They'll put it on a beautiful postcard for you and ship those out. So lots of more sophisticated marketing tools, I think, starting to come through Realist that are really going to arrive at a time, I think, when agents need them most. So just some really cool features there. Certainly, I think agents always want to be able to identify distressed properties, bank-owned properties. So all of your traditional marketing activities and farming activities, are typically what we use Realist for. And again, you have that power of Realist inside Matrix 360 as well, when you're able to search across both MLS properties and public records properties together.
So Amy, if I wanted to print labels, and obviously that integration doesn't exist yet, we had another company called Prospects Plus on um, last week, and they were talking about labels. So I could print those labels and then print them and put them on my own postcards, or send them to another company that does that work too if I already have another partnership.
Absolutely. Yep. So today, when you've done your search and you're ready to print the results onto labels, you can actually just export it into
Mhm.
Excel or comma separated value. Works
Mhm.
great for mail merges or for shipping off to a third party company to do your mailings for you. We do geocode all of our parcels every
Mhm.
quarter, so you get the zip+4 carrier routing, which makes the
Oh, good.
postage and things like that cheaper for you.
That's great. And with it, what we've talked a lot about on the show in the last several weeks, it feels like we've been doing this for months for those of us who've been on it a lot. Um, Everything just seems like we work in dog years here. We just go, every day is worth five. Um, but the idea that many agents have prioritized smartly the idea of reaching out to each one of their clients and finding out how are they doing, not necessarily trying to go for the jugular and try to sell them something, but at least just to check in with them. But here's a way, if you do have a large sphere, you could actually prioritize them based on this idea of where are they on the propensity to sell, right? Not that we only want to work with people that are going to sell soon, but if you've got 2,000 people, and so how am I ever going to get through all of those? This is a great way to say, well, go to the highs and the very highs first, right? Just to see what's
It
going on with
is, and it gives you a lot of visibility into kind of where they are, right? Their deed information and things like that. And so, yeah, that propensity score is just based on kind of market trend data by neighborhood, some
them.
IRS data, some Home Mortgage Disclosure Act data, HUD data, AVMs, and so it's just really a combination. Again, not an exact science. We don't want to oversell it. I think propensity models got oversold a bit in the market over
Yeah,
the last few years. And so this is just an additional tool in your tool belt that helps you to understand, that either this seller's living in a really high market or their loan to value is very high. They've got a lot of home equity, things like that help provide guidance. And I know there's sophisticated agents that have been using Realist that way themselves, right? They didn't need a score to be able to go in and calculate loan to value and things like that to know that that was a good prospect for them. So this is just really, again, an additional tool in your tool belt that could help you, shorten your prospecting or be more efficient with your prospecting.
exactly. Well, and you're right, Amy. I think there are still some tools like this that are separate tools, but they're also very expensive tools. What's nice
Right.
about this is, again, you're not going to necessarily make your whole business based on propensity to sell, but it's nice that it's already there and it's already part of something that you pay, hopefully, and not a whole lot for in your MLS dues. So take advantage of it, right? Because there are people that
Yes.
have spent thousands and thousands and thousands just for this functionality, and
Yes. Yeah.
and frankly didn't probably get the return they needed, but they paid thousands nonetheless. You've got it here and it doesn't cost you anything, so why not?
Doesn't cost anything. And the MLS is, the one thing that they're very good at is being able to deliver technology at scale with partners like CoreLogic or some of the other MLS system partners. And so I think sometimes maybe agents don't see as much value because it's something that's provided by the MLS, but rest assured, we're using very similar approach and technologies to those solutions out there that you are paying maybe hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for. So give it a try. Nothing to lose, as Marilyn said. Click on
Yeah,
it, see,
exactly.
kind of see what happens.
Well, and the other thing we hear a lot is, well, I don't want to use something that's in the MLS because everybody has it. Everybody has it, right? Well, just because everybody has it doesn't mean everybody's using it, right? I don't know if I've told this story, but it's probably worth repeating anyway. So this is something everybody can relate to. There was a woman, a good friend of mine, who had a property down in Sarasota, Florida, a $30 million listing. Okay, that's kind of a big one, right? Everybody's excited about those. And it was her and one other, it came down to her and one other company. And ultimately, she did not get it. Of course, she was not happy about not getting it, right? So smartly, she called the client and said, "Oh, I'm really disappointed. I thought we had a great connection, and it seemed like you liked our marketing approach and whatever, right?" And the owner of the home said, "Oh, I did love you. In fact, we were going to work with you." But then, what the other agent told us, that that they were going to put our listing on the MLS, and it was going to be exposed to 50,000 agents all across Florida. So we had to go with her. Okay, who doesn't want to shoot themselves in the head right now, right? That's how simple it. We forget the power of the MLS. We forget the fact that in whatever market you're in, every smart, prepared, experienced agent in the market is in the MLS with you. Can you think of any other tool, any other marketing network, and I know many of you belong to them, that has as many people that know as much about your local market as is in the MLS? There's nothing that can come even close. And how much do you pay for that? Do you pay hundreds per month? Do you pay thousands per month like you do for some of these other marketing networks? No, you don't. You don't even pay close to that in most cases, right? So we forget, we just take it for granted. Oh yeah, that MLS. Guess what? That MLS has all the smartest people, all the most interested buyers, all in one place, and we forget about it. So don't forget about it. I get excited about this. Forget how powerful it is. Not to mention
the power of the network is truly something that is very difficult to replicate. You know, at any scale at all. And I think, you know, the interesting thing is sellers and buyers are starting to understand that too, right? So, you know, the mystery of the MLS has been somewhat unraveled over the last few years, which is good. It's, you know, good for consumers and good for agents.
Yeah, in fact, we've done research and consumers will tell you that any data that they know that comes from the MLS that's coming through an agent, they tell me they know it's much higher quality than it is anywhere else. So the message is starting to get through, which is awesome. And we have, what did Sandra just had a question? A newer agent, did you say that the MLS goes in other states? Depends on the MLS, Sandra. But there are ways, I mean, in this case, for example, right, you've got, what did you say, 99.9% of all the properties across the country available?
Right.
Amy?
In Realist, in Realist, in the public records data, we've got 99.9% coverage. And so, you know, your local MLS will have a specific coverage area that they can provide you as far as matrix. But, you know, we have clients the size of Southern California, 100,000 agents, and we have clients as small as 1,000 agents in a small, you know, mountain niche market or something like that. And so your local area, you know, really dependent on, you know, what local MLS you belong to.
But just to remind us, I don't know if Sandra, if you were on this call, but we had HomeSnap on earlier, I don't know, 10 days ago or so, and HomeSnap, if your MLS has that, you go back to Amy's dashboard. I'm going to call it your dashboard now, Amy. Go back to the dashboard and see, because HomeSnap has active listings from across the country all in one place. It's a nationwide, it's basically like another, I hate to even say it, like another Zillow, right? Except that you don't pay for it and all of the leads come right back to you. So there are places within the MLS, not in all MLSs, but in many of them, where they are giving you national listing exposure in addition to that highly targeted, highly focused, the people that absolutely know your market the best through the MLS. So it's a great sort of like the whole nation can see you, but also the people that are really the most active in your market can see you. So it's a great combination. It's a winning way to do business for sure. Okay, yeah, so that's just just a quick overview for you of some of the things that the MLS can do for you. I would highly recommend, if there's one thing that, you know, get off this call today, go log into your own MLS and just pick one piece of training. You know, some of them could be 20 minutes long. Some of them are pre-recorded. You could just do that whenever you get a minute, you want to take a break. Many of them are having live online sessions. Again, a lot of them are having live online CE credit courses online. There's lots of different ways right now. And always, frankly, but right now especially, to learn more about how that MLS can unleash all kinds of marketing power that you really didn't even think about, right? It's a lot more than setting up a listing and doing a search. There's a ton more that the MLS and Realist and products like that can help you with. So tomorrow we've got a company called Back at You, which is a really neat group that helps us all with social media and automation of social media, because many of us haven't become experts on this, but these guys are. So they're going to talk to us all about how to use Instagram, which will be fun, because you know, many of us haven't really sort of cracked the code on that one, and yet it's a huge channel. And then on Thursday, we have a gentleman named Ryan Hartman from Inside Real Estate. And he's going to talk to us all about multi-channel marketing that actually helps prospects find you instead of you finding them. Wouldn't that be nice? So that'll be fun too. So, tune in again. If there's any of you on the call that would like us to register you for all of the upcoming coffee chats, just put your email in there and we'll take care of that for you so you don't have to worry about it. And also wanted to, well, that's right here actually. So yeah, just send your first and last name and your email address to marilyn@retechnology.com, or just put it in the box right now and we'll take care of that for you. And then finally, again, wanted to remind all of you, if you have not yet done this, go to youtube.com and register for RE Technology Inc., just the same way I've got it spelled there. Subscribe, and then make the little blue the little bell next to it, turn that so it's full. And what that'll do is it'll get you notifications of all of the coffee chat and recordings that we do on webinars, so you'll never miss one of these. Of course, you don't have to look at it, but if it strikes your fancy, it's a great way to just to stay in touch when I know everybody's busy. Also, many of the MLSs offer a free subscription for you to RE Technology, like you saw on the dashboard we looked at earlier. But if not, go to retechnology.com, go to create account, and then you'll get a free 3-month subscription from us as well, using one of those codes that are down below. So COVID-19A, for example. Yeah, so that's kind of what we got for you today. Hope this coffee chats are helpful for you guys. Thank you so much, Amy, for giving us just that little bit of a sneak peek.
Appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, I encourage everyone to kind of check in with their MLSs. There's a help section in all matrix systems, and just re-emphasize what you've said, which is they're adding a lot of value right now, and I don't know any of them that probably aren't working harder than usual to try to help agents out in this time.
I've talked to them. They're very tired too. They're working as hard to support you guys as you are trying to get your business rolling again. So they're there for you. So and again, if you have questions, MLSs love to hear that. If you said, I wish there was training on reverse prospecting and there isn't right now, or whatever, give them suggestions, because they will definitely respond. I see them developing new technology and new training for you guys all the time. So with that, we'll tune out for today. Everybody have a great afternoon or morning, depending where you are. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow talking about Instagram. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, Marilyn.